Welcome to the wonderful world of Twence. Let's talk about waste for a moment. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but all that wonderful waste does much more than you'd expect. You see, Twence isn't just any waste processor. They turn waste into new raw materials and even sustainable energy. But I think that needs a bit more explanation. So let's just go and take a look. This is where it all happens. On our grounds, larger than 380 football fields, more than 300 people work on that second life of waste. Every day, as many as 400 trucks come here to bring various types of waste, from organic and garden waste to residual waste, commercial waste, construction and demolition waste, manure, or non-reusable waste wood. Even the stuff you throw away when you clear out the attic. Twence manages to create valuable raw materials from almost everything, which find their way back into the region. But how exactly does that work? All those different waste streams coming in must, of course, end up in the right place.
Separating waste is important. We know that. But at Twence, it probably goes a bit differently than at your home.
Just take a look at the waste separation plant.
Here, bulky household waste and construction and demolition waste are sorted and prepared for reuse. Cardboard, paper, and metal gets recycled. Broken garden chairs become material for new ones. And an old rug gets a second life. Yeah, there is still so much potential in waste.
Household residual waste that cannot be recycled further is taken to the waste-to-energy plant. And there, quite a lot of energy is made from it. This is what most people think of, burning waste and then you're done. But this is actually just the starting point. The incineration process releases an enormous amount of energy. That is converted into sustainable heat, steam, and electricity. With that, people like you and me can simply get off natural gas at home. In total, Twence provides more than 180,000 households, but also industry, with sustainable heat and electricity.
Now that's how you do something for the region.
But the waste-to-energy plant isn't the only place where energy is produced. In fact, we've only just begun. At the biomass energy plant, non-recyclable waste wood is being processed, from combustion to electricity, steam, and hot water. And those are, of course, 100% green. And what's really great is that this energy has a direct impact on our lives.
How about the field heating for a football stadium? Heat from Twence. Or the water they use to wash the beer bottles at a brewery? Absolutely! All with the heat from Twence.
Fun fact, after burning non-recyclable wood or residual waste, bottom ash remains, a kind of material made of ash residues. But bottom ash also contains metals, such as iron or copper. In the bottom ash processing plant, more than 90% of those particles are recovered. Everything larger than staples can still be reused.
Okay, so we're burning waste. Isn't that harmful? Well, it's not so bad actually. Twence actually has an innovative CO2 capture plant that removes CO2 from flue gases.
And less CO2 in the air is better for the climate. How sustainable do you want it to be? And the captured CO2 is used, among other things, to provide greenhouse horticulture with sustainable heat. This allows greenhouses to get off natural gas, and Twence helps grow delicious bell peppers. Tastes good. What's also great is that once you've eaten the pepper, Twence can do something with the leftovers, because all your fruit, vegetable, and garden waste ends up in the green bin. That gets neatly separated and finds its way to Twence. Then it's time for composting and fermentation. That's used to make compost, a soil improver, in other words, which ensures optimal growth of crops in agriculture. And through fermentation, Twence also generates biogas.
That is processed in the green gas plant into, you guessed it, green gas.
With green gas, thousands of households are heated and people can cook. Super sustainable, right? Now for something completely different.
What do you know about the manure surplus in this region?
Not everyone knows that, you know, but there's simply too much pig manure. Fortunately, Twence has a solution for that.
In the manure valorization plant, manure is converted through smart processes into 100% valuable raw materials, such as fertilizer substitutes and soil improvers that help reduce nitrogen emission. Good for nature, but manure valorization
Also yields green energy and even clean water that goes back into nature.
In nature, there is of course one energy source that is always there for us, the sun.
With this, Twence generates enough energy at its solar parks for as many as 17,000 households. Just imagine, that's 70 football fields worth of solar panels.
As you've seen, Twence is working hard towards a sustainable society.
Waste will always exist, but Twence turns it into something useful in the form of sustainable energy and new raw materials. You can see the impact of Twence in the region and even across the border. It starts small, with waste separation, but it only works if we do it together. Together with municipalities, with partners, with residents, and with you. Will you join in? Twence, together towards a sustainable region.